Transformers! Robots in disguise!
I can't leave that in. Hello and welcome to the build of my little Gundam. To start, the instructions would like you to remove the pieces by cutting away from the part on the sprue, and then cutting the excess off afterwards. And this is something I totally did all the way through the build. And then I used a scalpel just to scrape away the excess. For the most part, the build was actually quite easy. There were some small areas which were quite difficult and tricky considering the size of my hands and fingers, but with a little bit of perseverance, it came out quite easy really. Every sub-assembly starts with the unique bendable parts which serve as the skeleton for the entire unit. Although some parts are easier to bend than others, at some points I did believe I was going to break the model trying to force some of the pieces into their positions. Each piece only has one way of connecting to the model, so it's a lot harder to make mistakes, seeing as I was only paying vague attention to the instructions. And once one side was finished, the other side could be completed pretty much off memory. And apart from the head, only a few parts needed to be made in sub-assemblies before attaching them to the main body. When I was building the leg, I did keep noticing this little red thing that was pointing out in front of the shin. I was going to go and cut it off at one point, but my finger did accidentally press it. And when I read the instructions, I realised it was supposed to be pushed down so it can be finished. After reading a review that complained that there wasn't that much range of motion in the parts, I was surprised on how movable the leg was. And I did think there was going to be lots of posing options for it later on down the line. Yeah, boy was I wrong. Now my main real complaint has to be about the manual. It is the fault of the manual completely that I had no idea how to attach certain parts together. Now when Bindai sent the instructions over to England with this model kit, they should have been aware of what our instruction manuals actually look like. They should have realised that all of our instructions are completely vague, in broken English and impossible to understand, usually having pictures that make no resemblance to the parts that are actually inside the box. It's over the years that everyone living in Britain has got to understand how to read instructions, so when they are as clear and as precise as the ones inside this box, we actually read them quite differently. And coupled with the fact that if you tell me to go and do something, we're going to do the opposite. So if you ask me to rotate a piece before attaching the other parts to it, you know I'm going to ignore it. This also applies to telling me in which order to actually put the pieces together. So the fact that I didn't have a clue what was going on, I didn't know where to put the parts, is purely the fault of the instruction manual. So after throwing the instructions in the bin and just using trial and error, I finally managed to get all the pieces together. Now after some time contemplating, I decided to give the instructions another go. So after digging them out of the bin and having a look, the first thing it wanted me to do was remove the hand off the arm, build the arm, and then for some reason reattach the hand to the arm. So I ignored the instructions and built the second arm without taking the hand off, and there was no problems whatsoever. As I found out, you need to bend every part that comes off the special sprue before you can start building the next body part. And I believe the only reason to do this is to make you spend more time making the model. Because like the hands on the arms, the shoulders you have to push back to attach the arms to then just rotate them back again. Now unfortunately I have to talk about this little part. It's only two pieces and it connects quite simply into a little hole in the model. Unfortunately this piece decided it wanted to make an enemy of me, and didn't actually want to stay on the model at all, ever. All I had to do was slightly touch it, look at it, breathe in its general direction, think about it falling off, and it just fell off. Time and time and time again. I had threatened the piece several times and showed it some proper language. Unfortunately, it thought it could still get the best of me. After squeezing the part so hard into the model that I can still see the imprint on the back of my thumb, I thought I'd actually won the battle. But I still warned it that I had a bottle of Tamir extra thin and I wasn't afraid to use it, even if the instructions said not to. I think it was at this point that I just pointed and said, "Please stay." or words to those effect. Now the head was the trickiest to put together only because of its small size. and I was surprised that the clear coloured parts were only slightly visible inside the model. Now, this little red thing on his head, yep, just don't like it. Now I did keep removing and replacing this little red piece too many times in my opinion, and it did eventually break. So, like a genius, I decided to use the Tamiya Extra Thin, only to realise that does actually melt the plastic. And in a blind panic, just fit it to the head anyway, and although not visible, the red actually started melting into the white of the head. Once the main body was built, I was surprised again on how manoeuvrable all the parts were, and again I was very optimistic on how many different poses I could put for the end of this video. Yeah. Now the model comes with many different hands, which are just interchangeable depending on what weapon you have, and as you can see they're very easy to manipulate, and didn't spend most of their time flying off into my carpet. After the main body's built, you start concentrating on the weapons. These are all very simple assemblies, and you requiring a fair few parts. Now my only real concern is actually with the samurai sword itself. The connection between it and the handle is quite flimsy. It does feel like, even with a little bit of manipulation, the sword is going to snap. And I did doubt that I'd actually put it in there properly. However, the more I tried to put it in there, the more I felt like it was going to break. I did, however, like the fact that when putting it in the sheath, there is a noticeable click when putting it in, so it doesn't just slide in and out on its own. But this did only add to the feeling that again it was going to be even easier to break. Now with all the weapons, you have to build the hands around them, which is all perfectly fine if it wasn't for the fact they were so damn fiddly. And even with the slightest touch, the hand would just break open and drop the weapon. Now if I was playing with this model a lot like a child would, eventually the wear and tear would make the hands impossible to stay together. Disclaimer, that's only my opinion, and I will probably not be playing with it, so I'm not going to find out if it's going to happen or not. And again, there was another piece that, for the life of me, I just couldn't get to fit and stay on. Now, after rescuing the instruction manual from the round filing cabinet on the floor, I realised that why the fingers wouldn't move. There is a small little piece of plastic holding the fingers together, which you just need to cut off. And then turn the fingers around 180 degrees because they're printed on backwards, again for some reason. Now most of the parts do have nice little round connector pins attached to the model, which I believe is only there to give you some hope that they're going to stay on there when you finally pose or play with the model. Included in the kit is a tiny little man. I'm fairly confident they just had some spare plastic and decided to print him, because I don't quite see why we need him. Now, before applying the decals, aka the stickers, I decided to try and pose the little model and see what it would look like, only to find out that it does like spending most of its time on its side, or dropping his weapon. But I decided to chalk that up to my keen eagerness to try and play with it when it's ready. I did ask the model if he's going to stay together when I pose him, and he did nod back and go, "Yeah, I will." Now I did discover that there's a little port or cockpit or whatever it is in the middle of the model, and decided to open it up, only to realise it was right next to that little piece that I hate. Now when I saw the man, I thought maybe he lives in there. Nope. So I don't quite know why that bit opens really. So I figure it's there just because they could put it there. Now comes the return of my favourite little piece in this entire model. Whilst weathering the model and not even touching it, it fell off again. After again giving it a few fair stern words and showing it the Tamiya Extra Thin again, and giving it the hand gesture saying that even the instructions say I shouldn't be using this, and also opening the bottle to prove to the model that I really am not afraid of using this stuff. It was then that the piece decided to draw a line in the sand and jump out of my tweezers. Now I really don't recommend doing this or using the amount that I did, but I'm not going to be beaten by this little thing. And I'm sure it was nothing to do with the fact that I was incredibly angry that I couldn't actually put the piece in there with the cocktail stick. And again, after saying please stay, I decided to press the piece in so I could now have its imprint on my other thumb as well. Now, after giving it a gentle little shake and placing it delicately back on the table, I was confident that the piece would stay put, seeing as it was now part of the other pieces. Literally. Now, halfway through this build I decided to trim my nails, which meant removing the stickers was damn near impossible, so I would recommend using a scalpel to remove them from the sheet. And using some sort of tweezers, not the ones that I used for the other part of course, because for some reason that particular pair of tweezers disappeared. Now, after watching the hype on some of the other YouTube videos and buying into it, that the stickers fit perfectly and they're brilliantly made, this is not the case. Quite a lot of the stickers are slightly larger than the holes that they're supposed to go into, so I did have to use my tweezers to press them into the little crevices. And one of my fears came to light when putting the stickers on some of the darker parts, as you can see the clear outline where the sticker is. So for those particular stickers, I just ended up putting it back on the sheet. This, however, was not a problem on the lighter parts. And although I pushed the sticker around the corners as tightly as I could, if I look at the model now, I can clearly see them roll up a little bit. So I've no idea how long they would actually last if it was actually to be handled and played with. Now, when it comes to posing the model and probably playing with it, yeah, it's just nowhere near as easy as it looks. And I just really have no clue on how all the YouTube videos and photo people have managed to make him look amazing as they do. I must have spent absolutely ages trying to recreate the box art, and yeah, it's just I just can't make it happen. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little build. I do have a third video coming out, which is on how I weathered the model. There is a small little picture of it at the end of this video, if you're interested. Now, personally, I would recommend buying one of these sort of models, even if only to first-hand experience some of the unique qualities that Bindai have gone and put into the little models. I, however, will not be buying any more. After this first one, I really don't think the second one would actually give me the same entertainment value as the first one. And if you were an avid collector of these models, I do believe that the actual building would be secondary to actually owning the model itself. As it sits on my desk and I just look at it vaguely now and then, it does remind me of a DIY modern take on Action Man. So all I would say is, just don't really look at the hype. It is unique in itself, but it's not as amazing as they all make out on the YouTube videos. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next videos.